I'm Ed Denkin. The NBA's Western Conference Finals continue this evening with the Thunder playing host to the Spurs. The series is tied at 2-2 after San Antonio evened the series with a victory in Game 4. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio. Our coverage gets underway at 8 Eastern, tip-off at 8:30 Eastern. Winner of the West will face the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. This after the Knicks finished off a sweep of Cleveland to advance last night. ESPN's Jay Williams says the extra rest the Knicks are getting only going to help them for the finals.
The basketball gods have literally afforded the Knicks their best opportunity to win a world championship. Think about this. They have now played 4 games in the next 23 days. Yeah, 23 days.
The NBA Finals begin on June 3rd. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The Vegas Golden Knights looking to advance to their third ever Stanley Cup final. They have a 3-game lead over Colorado. The Avalanche will have Nathan MacKinnon in the lineup despite getting an injury in Game 3. Face off just after 9 Eastern on ESPN. Pittsburgh's Evgeny Malkin is coming back for a 21st season after signing a new 1-year deal with the Penguins. At the French Open, the 6th Daniel Medvedev was upset by Adam Walton.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Wednesday as OTAs roll along. I'll tell you the one player who's hurting himself the most by not being at workouts. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Up and running, welcome in. Another edition of After Further Review. Musso in for Moscona. It's Tuesday. Welcome back from a Memorial Day weekend presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we are glad to have you along for the ride here today as well. Jam-packed Tuesday show as, well, there's a lot to talk about after being out of here for 3 days. SEC spring meetings in Destin. That's where we'll begin here momentarily. Shea Dixon at 3:15, his normal spot. Massive official visitor weekend out at LSU. Pels introduced Jamahl Mosley today. Andrew Lopez will stop by in the 4 o'clock hour, kind of react to that. And the New Orleans Saints, they're on the practice field Wednesday for the start of OTAs. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. He'll be around there. It's officially now the LSU baseball offseason now that the tournament bracket has been announced. So couple different things I want to dive into there. Just a ton to get to here on today's AFR. So glad you're along with us, and we'll go ahead and begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, and we'll begin in Destin. Oh, I wish we were actually in Destin. We'll begin in Destin with the SEC spring meetings. Greg Sankey took his turn at the podium on Monday on Memorial Day. He said a lot of the same stuff when talking about the college football playoff, 16. He's not opposed to 24, wants to gather information. They have contracts, so he's committed to the SEC championship game. All of those different things that he's been saying really for the better part of a year, but especially the last few months here as he's kind of made his rounds. So nothing really groundbreaking there. He held pretty steady. But y'all, there have been some bangers of quotes coming out of SEC spring meetings, specifically here today. Let's start with Mike Elko, kind of keep it on the playoff expansion part of this. So Mike Elko took his turns at SEC spring meetings in front of the media at the podium, also in a breakaway session in the hallway. And I looked for this quote in full audio. I could not find the full thing in audio, so I'll just read it. Mike Elko was asked about college football playoff expansion. He said, quote, "I don't know why you ask us. It doesn't matter what we think. I don't know why we're trying to become a trophy sport. What does Mike Elko want? 40. Then I won't get fired. We don't have to find a number that allows everyone to get in. It's okay for it to be hard to get into the playoff. None of us are answering for the good of the sport. We are answering for the good of ourselves." I know Mike Elko coaches the Texas A&M Aggies. I know most everybody listening to this show and here in Baton Rouge doesn't really like the Texas A&M Aggies, But how about a freaking round of applause for Mike Elko? Clap it up for Mike Elko because he finally had the stones to say, I don't really want to say the quiet part out loud, just the part that we already know that no one else will say out loud. He had the gall to say it into a microphone on the record. None of us are answering for the good of the sport. We are all answering for the good of ourselves. And look, I understand right there. He's talking about the coaches. He quipped as well. He's like, the ADs don't ask us what we think. Paraphrasing there. He's like, our input doesn't actually matter. So why do you ask us? But in doing that and in answering it the way that he did and in punctuating the quote the way that he did, he is the only person who has sat there and said, it's not for the good of the game. It's not for the competitive advantage. It's not for any of that. It's not for fairness. It's for the good of everybody involved, money, revenue, financials, all of that. That's what it's about. We all know that, yet no one will ever say it. Mike Elko said it. Bravo to Mike Elko for that. Finally, just some truth, right? And the truth shall set you free. And look, I don't need to sit here and have an entire debate on college football playoff expansion. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Very Cliff Note abbreviated. I think 16 is the number. Like, if you want my opinion, I think 16 is the number. I think that would be awesome. It would get more teams involved. It could accomplish a lot of different things. However, I understand that at some point it's going to go to 24. So just go to 24. You're like, just do it. Like, that's where I'm at. I think 16 would be great. It's never going to stay there. It's going to go to 24. Just move it to 24. Save me the conversation about devalue in the regular season. I don't care because that goes both ways. Yes, some games will become less impactful. See Texas A&M, Texas from a year ago. Both of those teams would already be in. A&M would have been pretty much guaranteed a first-round bye. That game would not have been nearly as meaningful. But on the flip side, you'll also have other games, that will be meaningful on the opposite end. You had that this past year. The A&M Texas game was very meaningful for the college football playoff in the 12-team race. It cost A&M a potential chance there at a bye. Texas was trying to fight to get in. Ultimately, they get left out. Okay, that's fine. Indiana played. I don't even know who Indiana played. It didn't matter. Indiana was in the final weekend of the regular season. Like, they were in. So it goes both ways. That's going to happen, so I don't really care about that. More teams are going to be involved one way or the other, regardless of if you expand, trophy sport, all those things, participation award, fine, whatever. It's going to go to 24, so just get it there. Does it feel rushed? Probably, but it's going to go there for all the reasons that Mike Elko just said. For the good of themselves, for the good of the conferences. It's why Greg Sankey's holding it up. He's holding it up because he's trying to look out for the best interest of his league, which is his job as commissioner. No matter what coaches in his league or athletic administrators in his league say they want right now, his job is to look out for the SEC, and that's what he believes he's doing. And that's why you have all this argument, and it's revenue. They want revenue opportunities, new revenue streams in this era of college athletics. We all understand it, and it's going to get there. I just love Mike Elko for freaking saying it today. So hats off to him. Now, the other quote that's made a lot of headlines, especially here, is what John Sumrall had to say. John Sumrall, coach of Florida, former coach of the Tulane Green Wave. And I think we all like John Sumrall a lot. Many people would have been ecstatic if he got the LSU job. You can count me in that. I love the way John Sumrall handles himself. But today at spring meetings, when he was talking to the media, he was asked, if Tulane had not allowed him to coach the college football playoff while taking the Florida job, what would he have done? Which is a unnecessary question to kind of begin with. That's not really relevant to any of this. And part of the reason why is because that was never going to happen. But John Sumrall says, quote, I would have stayed at Tulane and not taken another job. He continued, we were playing for a championship. That's not a shot at anybody. Okay, so two things here. I don't want to call John Sumrall a liar. But I am going to sit here and just flatly tell you that I don't believe him on either of those two things. Number one, it absolutely was a shot at Lane Kiffin. If it wasn't, you would not have said, hey, that's not a shot at anybody. That just kind of further emphasizes that, yeah, I'm taking a shot here. And also, you could say you would have stayed at Tulane and not taken another job, but there's just no way he actually believes himself when he says that. If the Florida Gators would have came to John Summerall and said, hey, here's our offer, here's the job, we want you to be our head coach, but you can't coach Tulane in the playoff. We need you here, portals open, and all that stuff. He's taking the Florida job. Okay, he's doing that. Because Florida's objectively a better job than Tulane. It is in the SEC. It is everything that you went to Tulane for was to get that job. So that's just, I don't believe him. And the other thing is, really the kind of burying the lead of that is, this never would have happened. Leaving a group of 5 school or group of 6 school to take a Power 4 job is not the same thing as leaving for a conference rival when you're on the precipice of a playoff. I hate to even have to rehash this. We all understand why Lane Kiffin was not allowed to coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff. We all understand the optics of that, tampering, all of those things. Florida brought in 28 transfers to prove to you this is just not the same thing. Florida brought in 28 transfers. 2 of them came from Tulane, and they were the kicker and the punter. It's not a shot at Tulane. Look at me, I'm doing the John Summerall thing. It just is what it is. The 2 situations are not apples to apples. That's why I look at the question in general. I'm like, you're looking for a quote like the one he gave you. But John Summerall he would absolutely have taken the Florida job, even if they said, you can't coach. Tulane did not have a realistic shot at making a run in the college football playoff. It's the same reason that Bob Chesney got to coach James Madison before going to UCLA. You're Bob Chesney. You're not leaving UCLA. You're John Summerall leaving Tulane. You're not Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. Those things are not the same. And I think we all understand that. That is a wild quote. That's a wild quote to me that John Summerall put out there today. I would have stayed at Tulane. I wouldn't have taken another job. Come on, man. I don't believe that, John Summerall, and neither do you. You don't believe that either. I won't call you a liar, but I can sit here and say, I don't believe you. We'll keep updating throughout SEC spring. Keep updating throughout the show with news out of SEC spring football, spring meetings, I should say. It is, it's been a fast and furious 2 days out there in Destin. I'm sure we'll head out there at some point this week as well and get the lay of the land. Right now, we got to grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. Massive official visitor weekend at LSU. Summer is here, y'all, and that means the recruiting trail heats up. Shea Dixon, On3 the Bengal Tiger. He's here next to break it all down.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. GLO, glowresources.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Tuesday edition of After Further Review, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Summer is here, which means the recruiting trail is heating up. Big official visitor weekends coming up. The first this weekend for LSU football. Multiple 5-stars on campus. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Joins us every week here on Tuesday, and he's with us now. Shea, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Moose?
I'm doing fantastic, man. This is the fun part of the recruiting calendar right here, and there's a lot going on.
I thought you were going to say this is the fun part of working for Matt is when he goes on vacation, you get to step on the mic.
I mean, yeah, no, that part's good too. But what makes that even better, Shea, is when, you have official visitor weekend after official visitor weekend, and I get to talk to you on the show when I step up to the mic. So that's the best part of this. There's a lot I want to get into with you. Let's start, though, with the official visitors, and one of the 5-stars, Easton Royal, of course, #1 wide receiver, Brother Martin. Everybody kind of knows that. It seems like he's been on LSU's campus, every weekend for the past month and a half, but I know that's not necessarily the case. This is finally official for Easton Royal. What can you tell us the latest there?
Yeah, #1 receiver in the entire country. And look, when you hire a guy like Ed Orgeron to just assist in recruiting like Lane Kiffin did, it starts in Louisiana, and it's going to start with players like this. I mean, you look around the state, a 5-stars committed in Ahmad Hudson. Here in Baton Rouge, obviously, Elijah Haven's a 5-star. He's going to Bama. LSU's got their quarterback in Peyton Houston up in North Louisiana at Evangel. They're both top 10 quarterbacks. And then the only 2 other, that's a lot of 5-stars. There's 2 more that are uncommitted. Albert Simeon, the O-lineman, and here we go with Easton Royal, the wide receiver, #1 in the country on Rivals. number 4 overall player on Rivals, regardless of position. So we're talking about a kid, Moose, that he's a shade under 6 foot, but he's 200 pounds, and he ran a 10.17. I think it was plus maybe 1.5, but to even touch that in the rain at LHSA State Track Meet in the shadows of Tiger Stadium just a couple of weeks ago. This is a guy who dominates Friday nights, high level football at Brother Martin, and then can do that. I mean, he'd be playing basketball nonstop too if he had the time for everything. But this is we talk about it, Malik, Justin Jefferson, Chase, those guys come through Louisiana once every few years that are no doubt, hey, look, if they stay on the right track and develop, NFL players, and that is Easton Royal. And I still say the strategic part, well played by Texas, because it was obviously starting to heat up that LSU was going to hire Lane Kiffin back in November. I think that went final. What was it, Moose? Like the last day of November, first day of December.
Yep.
He committed the 29th of November. So kudos to Texas and Sark for saying, hey, look, my buddy's about to grab this job. Let me go ahead and do what we can to get the number 1 receiver in the country. It was kind of back and forth, but had watched a struggling LSU offense and sold him on Arch Manning, all this, what they're doing with the program at the moment, the guys they have behind him, and Easton got on board. But I've still stuck with it. I think that signing day 6-7 months away, Moose, if this offense is putting up more than 25 points a game, which they couldn't do against an FBS opponent last year, if they look anything like the offenses that they had in Oxford, a wide receiver like Easton Royal is going to be far more attracted to that than he was the Brian Kelly era offense, at least what we saw from a year ago. So this weekend, massive, coming in with his mom, everybody else. But look, Texas still has an official. Florida's hanging around. Summerall's trying to get really involved, and Florida's sort of backing Summerall on the NIL front to get some elite high school guys. But I think it's an LSU-Texas battle, and probably Florida in that mix, but I think that kind of tapers off as time goes on. But if you want to talk biggest recruits in the country that are ever going to visit LSU this cycle, proximity included, Easton Royal makes an easy case to be tied for number 1 on that list.
Another guy we talked about on the show last week, Shea, is Marquez Davis, cornerback, kind of Corey Raymond's sleeper hidden gem. And I know you and both Sam Spiegelman put in predictions for him to LSU here today over at On3, and he's going to be on campus this weekend as well.
Yeah, our rankings team at Rivals became the first ones to rank him, and they haven't gotten to see him in person. And most of he's getting recruited at corner, 6'3", north of 180. Coming out of Opelousas, but out of Northwest High, which the Raiders, shout out to them. I don't know if they've produced a caliber of a football player to go to LSU before. I've asked around, and folks in the area said they can't remember. So certainly not in the modern era of recruiting, but this is a kid who was 1,000-point scorer in basketball. UL and a number of other schools have offered for basketball, and then flashed at receiver this past year, ran some track, did all that. And that, as you said, the Corey Raymond special, the only thing missing here was he was unranked up until this past week. And then at Rivals, we ranked him, and how they kind of normally do it before they see a kid is they'll put a 3-star on him and then say, okay, if he's good enough for Corey Raymond, let's take a closer look at his film and dive deeper into it and put an appropriate ranking on him when the time comes. I'd rather have just been unranked through signing day. That's your ultimate Corey Raymond guy, a kid who's even when you go to his Rivals profile, it's him in a basketball jersey. So this is your developmental type where, look, they're swinging for the fences. Even with Josh Dobson out, they're swinging for the fences with some refined, high-level corners that can come in and play. And Davis would be more of a guy you develop. But I'm not saying this like he's going to be a top 10 pick, but Mo Claiborne would be that comp. I mean, he came out of Fair Park and Shreveport, played every position, played every sport, wasn't ranked, ended up at 3-star. Well, you look up at the end of it, and he's bumped up the rankings. He's deciding to play receiver or corner. 3 years later, he's the number 6 pick in the draft coming out of LSU at corner. So we've seen this happen before. Louisiana is one of the few states that has hidden gems like this just kind of sitting around, that if you can find them and identify them and develop them, these can be Sunday football players.
We've got the picture of him up from Rivals on the screen right now with him in the basketball jersey. We'll see if Corey Raymond can get that one across the finish line. Another 5-star that's going to be on campus, Shea, is out of Pennsylvania, edge rusher Abraham Cisse. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Cisse?
Yes, yeah.
What can you tell us there?
Yeah, he's a kid out of Pennsylvania. Plays at Downington East in Downington, but a guy who a lot of people have thought Notre Dame was kind of the team maybe that was out front early on, a few months back, kind of as his recruitment began in the spring. Steve Wiltfong, Sean Fitz at our Penn State site, who Penn State's in it, being a Pennsylvania kid, they put their picks on Notre Dame. But he said, hey, I am going to go look around at all my options. And this is a guy that Sterling Lucas, remember, what is he the only addition? The one addition on defense? Chris Kiffin at linebacker, I guess. But
yeah,
Sterling Lucas came in, joins Kevin Peoples. They're coaching the D-line. But he was at South Carolina recruiting all of those talented edge rushers that have been through there in recent years, including Dylan Stewart. So he knows that DMV area up the coast into Pennsylvania and has been on him for a while now. So Moose, I would say this is that one where, I mean, he's the number 2 edge rusher in the country. He's a 5-star. He's not from this area. You get him in town and you just swing for the fences. And look, we've seen it before. We've seen guys from that neck of the woods come down this way. Look, even I don't remember what he was ranked at the time, but Tashawn Bauer was a New Jersey kid that was a top 5 or 10 D lineman and came down to LSU. So they'll go national, but only, I think, if it's these type of elite players. And I guess the kid who's ranked number 16 overall, regardless of position, and number 2 edge, and he's 6'5", and he's 225, and he's a junior in high school, about to be a senior. So you'll go for that one. So that 2 5-stars, him and Easton Royal coming in this weekend. 2 of the 4 visitors being 5-stars.
Shea, as we said, it's a big official visiting weekend over at LSU. We're talking with Shea Dixon. Shea, is there anybody who was expected to be at LSU that's not going to make the trip this weekend, or did they get them all on the boat?
Yeah, the one guy out of Georgia, Jeremiah Culpepper, is a 4-star linebacker. He's not been super heavy on LSU. He's largely considered an Auburn lean. Had thought about coming in this weekend, but isn't. And we'll see if he doesn't move it back to another date. But I did think it was notable very early on. Amari Patterson, who's a receiver out of South Carolina, is a guy who's talked up LSU a good bit, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia. I mean, a lot of SEC schools are recruiting him, but he's visited LSU a number of times and is high on this new staff and said he was coming this weekend. And now that was probably a month and a half ago. Well, in that time, Moose, Easton Royal scheduled his visit for this weekend. And I think LSU, in my opinion, wisely said, hey, look, Amari, let's visit another weekend. If you're rolling out the red carpet, right, for Easton Royal and you're doing all you can, all hands on deck, no need to have another receiver there. You've already got 2 committed right now for this class. Can you get a 3rd in Easton? Can you get a 4th in Miguel Whitley over at St. Aug? Then you feel great about things, right? I mean, the rest would be lane yaps. So they shifted that. Just 1 wide receiver visitor this weekend, and it'll be Easton Royal. And we'll see if they don't come back around to Amari Patterson at some point. But other than that, just 1 more guy. And I say he's a safety. He's a top 5 safety. But Adrian Cole, top 100 player out of Georgia, who playing in Douglasville, everyone thinks he's going to sign with Kirby. But again, much like Cisse, you just take your swing. He's a top 5 safety on Rivals. He's great size, north of 6 foot, 190 to 200 as a junior in high school, about to be a senior, and plays in a good area, talent-rich area. So a guy that we're really high on at Rivals, and I know that LSU staff seems to be pretty high on him. And this is one of those weekends you get guys like that in town and see if you can't just kind of grab some momentum maybe that can carry you into the summer.
Hey, we need somebody swinging for the fences this weekend, Shea. The Diamond Sports ended a little bit early around these parts, so we need somebody out there swinging for the fence.
Yeah, what are you doing with your time these days? Hosting Matt's radio show for him. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, talking to you, doing some recruiting, man. Football season never ends. Shea, last thing, and I'll get you out of here on this. A little bit of shuffling there in the quarterback room for LSU over the weekend. T. Martin's son, Caden Martin, added Emil Picarella, seeks another option, going to go to Delta State. Any thoughts there on the move?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're swapping kind of the fourth quarterback who now that you're over 100 scholarships, I mean, I don't even know if these guys are walk-ons anymore, right? Like you might be catching some sort of scholarship, obviously, but I also remember them being kind of high on Emil Picarella as like at the time a walk-on. So remember he had moved down here, went to U High, all of that, but I don't know where the decision was made, right, on what end, but I think obviously for Emil, it's a chance at playing time, and then getting Martin in. His dad's here as a coach now, T. Martin, and if I'm not mistaken, right, Moose, he had bounced around and played a little baseball, and then he had back to play some football, so this could have been one of those things where Picarella kind of said, hey, look, I have other opportunities, I want to explore them, and simultaneously they say, all right, well, if we need a fourth quarterback, T's son is available and can come down and can at least give us some scout team reps and stuff like that. But boy, it's like corner. You know, Lane talks about corner depth being thin, and we're talking about like the fifth, sixth guys. If we're getting down to the fourth quarterback, we don't even need to be debating anything, right? Like it's probably as good as Lane is.
It'll be a problem.
And Charlie Weiss. I don't know where you're at right there. John Trey Kirkland, come on down. We're taking direct snaps. Hey. We only need 11. That's the John Trey Kirkland motto. But yeah, so I think it's just about right. Well, best of luck to Emil, and hopefully, and I'm not a knock on anybody, but that no team has to get down to their fourth quarterback in the season when you just went out and grabbed 3 transfers that all are pretty highly coveted and for different reasons, whether it being the highest ranked quarterback, the 5-star that just left USC, or the top ranked quarterback coming out of the FCS level.
He is Shea Dixon on Twitter at Shea Dixon on 3. The Bengal Tiger, massive official visiting weekend over at LSU. Keep it locked with Shea and on 3 for all your recruiting needs. Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate it, Moose.
All right, that is Shea Dixon. This is After Further Review here on a Tuesday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We're due for a break, go around the SEC, but first, word from Matt on Evermore.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle, maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children, Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, Evermore.com.
Still got a lot to do here on AFR on this Tuesday. I kind of want to set up the offseason for LSU baseball, just where they stand now, a week out from the transfer portal opening with the roster. So we'll look at the pitchers, we'll look at the position players all throughout the show. Pels introduced Jamahl Mosley, Andrew Lopez still to come, Ross Jackson still to come. But next, we'll go around the SEC. Stick around. It's AFR presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, yesterday, Monday, was Memorial Day, which means it was also Selection Day for the NCAA baseball tournament. I'm going to give you some thoughts on that. We'll go around the SEC here momentarily. Yes, of course, look, it was odd to sit there at 11 a.m. on Monday and watch the selection show and just know that LSU's name was not going to pop up there. But, I mean, we don't need to rehash that. We all kind of understand how odd and weird that is when you saw it on social media from just about everybody. But I do have some thoughts on the field of 64 that was released, and honestly, by and large, I thought the committee did a good job. There's a few things that I have an issue with that I'll get into, but I think it's very clear to see that the 2 biggest deciding factors for this committee were RPI and strength of schedule, which makes sense. Those go hand in hand. Okay. I mean, like RPI is your record, your opponent's records, and your opponent's records. So strength of schedule is a huge metric inside of RPI. So it makes sense that those both go hand in hand. When you saw a team take Mercer, for example, Mercer, who had a top 30 RPI and 44 wins on the season, many thought would be an at-large bid out of the Southern Conference there. Yes, they had a great RPI. They had the wins. Their strength of schedule was 118, and they didn't get in, right? Contrast that with Troy, who was the last team in the field. They were team 64. Well, their RPI was 35. They went 32-29, but their strength of schedule was 8. Like, so you can see that kind of contrast there. And while, yes, I think Mercer should have gotten in, I also love that Troy was rewarded. The host battle between Arkansas and Mississippi State, I thought Arkansas playing themselves into the SEC championship, ending up with 18 quad one wins, 20 aggregate SEC wins, and a series victory over Mississippi State would give them the edge. It didn't. State had the better RPI. State had the better strength of schedule. Like State was better in DSR. They were better in KPI. Like every metric, State had that. I simply thought because of the quad one wins and again the SEC wins and the head-to-head that Arkansas would get it. They didn't. Okay, I'm fine with that. Like I certainly have no problem with Mississippi State hosting the regional in Starkville. I wouldn't have had no problem with Arkansas hosting the regional in Fayetteville. You were splitting hairs there. One of those teams was always going to be disappointed because West Virginia, who also snuck in as a host, literally the 16th seed, they probably weren't going to be left out either. They had 21 wins in the regular season in the Big 12, a top 20 RPI, a better RPI than Arkansas. So you were splitting hairs really right there with State and Arkansas, and somebody was always going to be disappointed, so I'm fine there. The real gripe that I have, and then I do have a note on LSU with this as well, but the real gripe that I have is Kentucky getting in. Kentucky got to 13 conference wins. That's great. Kentucky's RPI, 37. I mean, that's not awesome for 13 conference wins. They went one and done in the SEC tournament, losing to Vanderbilt. They won 2 SEC weekends all year. Save me that they didn't get swept. I don't care. Kentucky lost SEC weekends to Missouri, South Carolina, and LSU. That's the 3 teams that finished, the 3 worst teams in the league. That's where those finished. You lost series to all of them. Yes, you swept Alabama, who's a top 8. That's a great feather in your cap. Yes, you took a series from Tennessee, who's a 2 seed. But that's it. And again, you lost series to the worst teams. You went 1-3 against Vanderbilt, who finished with 14 conference wins. But again, it shows you RPI and head-to-head. Like, the RPI is going to trump that. I would have voted Kentucky out. Like, if I was on the committee, I would have voted Kentucky out. Solely because, I'm sorry, you cannot win 2 conference weekends and get in and lose to the 3 teams that finished at the bottom of your league. That's just, like, that's egregious. At some point, what your eyes show you is more significant than their RPI and them getting to the threshold of 13 wins. Because, again, Vanderbilt, who beat them 3 times, and I understand Vanderbilt's RPI is horrible. I'm not saying that Vanderbilt should have gotten in. I'm just saying, like, that team beat them 3 times, had more SEC wins, and was left out. So I'm completely off on Kentucky getting into this field, but whatever. The last thing, and we'll go around the SEC quickly. LSU's non-conference schedule that everybody complained about certainly ended up looking a lot better, didn't it? Northeastern, that club ends up winning 38 games and knocking off Campbell twice to win the conference tournament and get the automatic bid. Milwaukee, they go ahead, they win their league, they get in as a 4 seed. And then ULL, 39 wins, they get in. And then you look at a team like Kent State, who had 40 wins. They got left out because they lost their conference champion. They lost their conference tournament. Same thing with Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman won 38 games. UCF ended up being a really nice win for LSU. They got in. It can look pretty crappy on paper. But, man, it's all about those win totals. And you saw a lot of those teams win a lot of games. You'll see it pretty similar for LSU next year. Strength of schedule ended up ranked 11th to end the year. That's my thoughts on the NCAA tournament. Baseball. It gets started on Friday, Regional Friday, May 31st. All right, let's do it quickly. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn lands offensive lineman Rance Brown out of the state of Tennessee. He chose the Tigers over Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, and North Carolina. 6'6", 290 pounds, ninth commit for Auburn's 2027 class, the third offensive lineman. A 3-star, ranks as the 71st player at his position.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Pope gets good news. Malachi Marino has withdrawn from the NBA draft. He will return to Kentucky. All-SEC freshman, honors in year one. Potential first-round pick in June's draft. He worked out for actually all 30 of the NBA franchises. 36 games, 30 starts, averaged 7 and 6 with 11 double-figure scoring games.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And former 4-star center Maper Maker. That is fun to say. Maper Maker, a former 4-star center, commits to John Calipari and Arkansas. Was the number 27 overall center in the country in the 2025 recruiting class. Then he went and played prep ball in Australia. Dropped 35 in their most recent game to complete a 4-0 weekend. They played in a tournament in Arizona. So big get there for John Calipari in a 7-foot, 215-pound center named Maper Maker. He'll play for the Hawks. That's around the SEC. This is AFR on a Friday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Moscona is back tomorrow. And boy, we already have a jam-packed show for you on Wednesday as well. And have some very special guests in studio, courtesy of Our Lady of the Lake. We'll tell you more about that as the show goes along, and as we get a little bit deeper. But tomorrow's shaping up to be a really big day as well in Matt's return. Right now, we're going to grab a break. We will come back on the other side. A former LSU assistant coach turned head coach is now getting another job and a really big opportunity at the Power 4 level. We'll tell you about that next to close out hour number 1 of AFR.
After further review.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. You ever just get super frustrated at super slow internet? Oh, we've all been there, man. The little spinning wheel, slamming your keyboard or your mouse, pounding the desk because it's so frustrating. Your internet's so slow. Storm comes, knocks the power out, knocks the internet out, knocks the cable out. You're so frustrated. Maybe that's just me because I get kind of angry about things. But it's annoying. Nobody wants that to happen. Rev can help. They're local and 5 gigs, lightning fast speeds, and backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber. It's buried under the ground. I mean, you don't have to worry about a storm coming knocking the power lines down. Let's Rev. Listen, more than 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. R-E-V. 90 years of local experience. LetsRev.com. LetsRev.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean smelling, fresh smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
Really cool earlier today, if you didn't see this, the University of Houston announced Will Davis as their next head baseball coach. Of course, Will played at LSU under Smoke Laval and then Paul Maneri for one season. Came back to join Paul Maneri's staff, was an assistant coach on the 2009 national championship team, and he went to the World Series, College World Series as a player, won it as an assistant coach, and was with Coach Maneri through the 2015 season. I mean, really helped develop the catcher position fantastically. He was a very good recruiter for LSU as well. Just had a lot of success, and he went and took the job at Lamar. And awesome moment over the weekend. Lamar punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament for the very first time under Will Davis. He did an awesome job at Lamar. You're looking at 10 seasons there, 7 winning seasons, 6 straight winning seasons for Will Davis, including back-to-back 40-win seasons for the first time since 2003 and 2004. At Lamar, he won a Southland Conference title and then finally got over the hump, making it to the NCAA tournament this year. 289 wins, again, including 2 40-win seasons back-to-back at Lamar. He did a phenomenal job, and now he'll get an opportunity at the Power 4 level in the Big 12, which was the 3rd best RPI league in college baseball. So this is a big step up in competition for Will Davis, and an awesome opportunity, and one that he deserves. I mean, this is a guy who, paid dues as the assistant, had a lot of success at LSU, got the head job at Lamar, had opportunities to leave. I mean, after that 24 season when they went 44-15, he was a name to watch going into that 2025 season, and even again in this last coaching carousel. Now finally gets that big job. Houston is not an easy place to win. They don't invest a bunch, but I mean, Will Davis kind of feels like the perfect coach for that spot because they're going to ask him to do more with less. For what it's worth, the Houston Chronicle reporting that it's a 5-year deal, $425,000 annually there for Will Davis. Now at the Power 4 level with the Houston Cougars in the Big 12. great opportunity. Again, one that he is very much earned with the success that he has had as an assistant at LSU, and obviously as the head man at Lamar. So congratulations there to Will Davis and the next step for him. For what it's worth, Houston actually went after another former LSU coach and player, and Nolan Cain, and Nolan turned that job down. He'll remain at Texas, and we'll see when Texas's run ends if another opportunity maybe comes up for Nolan. He's another hot name, obviously, in there with the success that he's had both at LSU and now in Austin with Jim Schlossnagle. So they were just destined to hire a former LSU guy. But congrats to Will Davis. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. SportsCenter will get you caught up on the national headlines, and then we'll dive into the LSU baseball offseason. And we're going to start with the pitchers. And boy, what a conversation this is when you look at who might be back, who's draft eligible, who is gone, who's coming in, portal, all of those things. We'll dive into the LSU pitching staff and the future of it next here on AFR.
After further review.
Love telling you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. That's Arco Power Systems. We talk about generators a lot in Louisiana, especially all along the Gulf Coast, where we're sort of in this storm belt right here in the Gulf Coast. Well, of course, a lot of people have home standby generators. When we talk about Arco Power Systems, these are not home standby generators. This is industrial generator power. This is for your business. I mean, just think about it. When the power goes out, be it a hurricane, an ice storm, snow like we had last year, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, being offline is not an option. That's why you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Just look at all the locations. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Harvey, Lake Charles, Mandeville, Mobile, LaPorte, Texas, San Antonio, Little Rock, Houston, Dallas. They're everywhere. So if you're a business and you need standby power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bank, and we start with NFL news. Agents have told ESPN's Adam Schefter that two-time Pro Bowl receiver Nico Collins of the Houston Texans have agreed to an adjusted contract. It will guarantee his salary through the next two seasons and will add $9 million this year and $8 million in 2027. In the NBA, according to ESPN Shams Charania, Kenny Atkinson will return as Cleveland's head coach despite the sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, the NBA's Western Conference Finals continue tonight with the Thunder hosting the Spurs and the series tied at 2 games apiece. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander says he and his teammates have to learn from their Game 4 loss.
Whether you win or lose, you want to learn the lessons from the game. And when you lose, they're a little bit louder. The lessons are a little bit louder, and that's just how we view it. Like, you want to learn through the wins, but sometimes you lose, and you gotta get better.
You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with our coverage getting underway at 8 Eastern and tip-off set for 8:30 Eastern. Stanley Cup playoffs, Golden Knights and Avalanche tonight on ESPN just after 9 Eastern. Vegas is looking for the sweep of Colorado. The Avs' Nathan McKinnon will play despite an injury in Game 3. Also, Pittsburgh's Evgeny Malkin returns for a one-year deal worth $5.5 million.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Wednesday as OTAs roll along. I'll tell you the one player who's hurting himself the most by not being at workouts. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 2 after further review here on a Tuesday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona, Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we're happy to have you along for the ride as well. Andrew Lopez, sideline reporter for the New Orleans Pelicans. He'll join us here in about 13 minutes. Pels introduced new head coach Jamahl Mosley today. Andrew was there. We'll get his thoughts and talk a little bit about the future. Saints on the practice field for OTAs. Kick off OTAs on Wednesday. Ross Jackson will be here in the 5 o'clock hour to go through that. And a long-awaited NBA draft decision that impacts LSU's basketball roster came down today, and we'll kind of react to that a little bit here as well in about 30 minutes or so. But what I wanted to do right here was really dive into the LSU baseball offseason kind of just head first, because it's now officially here. Okay, the tournament bracket's been announced. You weren't in it. We knew that was going to happen. But now the official start of the offseason can begin. And my goodness, yes, it is earlier than anybody expected it to be, and it is way earlier than we were all used to. For example, the conversation that we're about to have, like setting the table for what happens with this roster potentially in the offseason, when we have that conversation normally, we already have decisions from some guys. We don't really have that right now. One, because the transfer portal doesn't even open until next week. It opens on Monday. Like, kind of just give you some perspective of where this is and how different this conversation is this time of year than when we're used to having it. I want to start with the pitchers and kind of a roster outlook there, because let's be honest, that was the weakness of your team. And let's be honest, there needs to be a lot of change there. And when you really sit down and you put this on paper, man, it gets a little messy. So I broke it up 4 categories. Players who are out of eligibility, players who are draft eligible, players who are not draft eligible, and then your signing class. 4 guys on your pitching staff are out of eligibility. You know 100% they're gone. They cannot return. Grant Fontenot, Zach Cowan, Dax Doty, Connor Bench. Those 4 guys, they're gone. When you look at draft-eligible players on this pitching staff, you have 7. Gavin Guidry, Maverick Rizzi, who's a draft-eligible sophomore, Cooper Moore, who I know it's been stated that he's going to come back, and that's the plan, so he's in both these in multiple of these categories, kind of. But he is draft-eligible, so I threw him in there. Jaden Newt, Santiago Garcia, DJ Primo, Devin Shear. 7 guys. And then there's 10 that have more eligibility left, that aren't draft eligible. And again, I would throw Cooper Moore kind of in this just because it's kind of been stated that they expect him back and the plan is for him to be back. Kason Evans, William Schmidt, Danny Lockenmeyer, Cooper Williams, Reagan Ricken, Ethan Plog, Jonah Ossie, who did not pitch this year due to an injury. He redshirted. Zion Theophilus and Marcos Paz. And then you're bringing in 12 pitchers in your signing class. No, not all of those guys are going to show up on campus. Like Logan Schmidt is going to be a first-round draft pick. You're probably not getting him to school, right? Like he's going to go. You're not going to get all 12. But that just shows you kind of where the numbers are, right? 4 that are out of eligibility, 7 that are draft eligible, 10 that aren't, and 12 in your signing class. And that is not even getting into the portal and what you might need there. Where the turnover comes into this, and there's going to be a lot of turnover on LSU's pitching staff, is the draft eligible and non-draft eligible guys. Those 17 arms. Really 16 because I included more in 2 places. So those 16 arms. If I look at 4 that LSU has to prioritize having back. 4. And again, this is not me saying these are the only 4 that are going to return. Just 4 that I look at and go, you have to prioritize those guys. Evan, Schmidt, Moore, Paz. Those 4. Now I can get into others as well that make a lot of sense to have back on this team. A guy like Cooper Williams, I know it didn't go well for him this year, but you've seen the success. Like you've seen it go well for him before as a freshman on a national championship team. I mean, the young man pitched in Omaha. Like that's the valuable part that he was to that staff a year ago as he pitched in Omaha. This year it was bad. Like it was one of the more shocking developments of the season. Given his freshman season, the offseason that he had in the fall and the preseason, in the preseason scrimmages, Cooper Williams was the best pitcher on this team. And then it just flatlined this year for him. But that's a guy that they're super high on that I could absolutely see returning. And that I would be in favor of returning. How about a guy like Reagan Ricken, who's just super raw and played a lot of football in high school and wasn't able to just focus on baseball. You saw the last outing from him be great. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to bring him back. A guy like Gavin Guidry, who's draft eligible. If he decides that he doesn't want to go to the draft, he wants to come back to LSU, there's going to be a spot for him on the team. Like 100%. That's, again, like Cooper Williams, you've seen it over the course of 2 seasons and one really bad one where he was coming off of an injury. So I'm I could keep going there. Lockenmeyer, I'd put same deal. He was solid for you outside of 2 outings this year. He wasn't great. He wasn't elite. He wasn't the best pitcher on your staff. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he was solid. There's enough there in his first year at this level of ball and just second year in college baseball. I'm like, okay, let's look at that a little. I could make that case for just about every pitcher on this staff. But not all of them are going to be back. Guys are going to take the money in the draft. Take a guy like Devin Sheeran. Devin Sheeran's a redshirt sophomore. He's draft eligible, but he's got plenty of leverage. But that's also a guy who throws 98 with a wipeout slider from a crossfire delivery who just oozes major league reliever and is probably going to get a pretty good chance in the first 10 rounds to sign for a good chunk of money and go. Maverick Rizzi falls into this category that I look at some guys and I go, okay, you're draft eligible. If you don't get the number there, has it worked out enough for you at LSU that you're willing to come back, that you want to come back, or do you want to look at a greener, for a new opportunity, we'll call it. Maverick Rizzi, 6'9", can throw 97 miles an hour, The command and all that just hasn't been there. But the potential is so there for him. Projectability, so there. Can you get more miles per hour off that thing? Can you get him up to 98, 99 consistently? A major league team might think they can. They might throw some money at him. And maybe he signs as a sophomore. Or maybe he looks at this and goes, man, the role just hasn't been what I wanted it to be. Do I look for another opportunity? I would throw a guy like Jaden Newt in that situation as well. Jaden Newt had one appearance the first year he actually was, healthy enough to play for LSU. He had one appearance. That was in 2024. 2025, he appears 20 times, has 5 starts, pitches in Omaha in big moments, was a big part of LSU's team. And then this year it was 10 appearances again. And the production just wasn't there. But that's a guy who's draft eligible, who was highly thought of coming out of high school, has proven he can stay healthy now. Does an MLB team take a shot there? And if they don't, has the role just kind of not developed to where he wants it to be, or maybe he looks for an opportunity? I think you can ask that for all of those draft eligible guys. Especially, and I use Rizzy really as that example because he has the leverage, right, as a draft eligible sophomore. But if I look at this, I go, okay, like there's 4 that I go, yeah, absolutely have to prioritize having those guys back. And then I think there's a conversation really for everyone else. And it's, again, not to say that those are the only 4 guys that are going to come back. You just need some fresh blood. You need some new blood in this staff. There has to be some type of change when it went as poorly as it did. And everybody shares a piece of the blame there, right? All of them. The pitching, the pitchers, the coaching staff, Nate Yeske, like all of them do. So that's just an example of some of the decisions these guys are going through. What do they need out of the portal? Well, you need a starter. Like you have to go get a starter. That should just be a thing. Really, every offseason, you go add starting pitching. This is no different. It's not to say that William Schmidt can't develop into a solid SEC starter or a great SEC starter. It's not to say Kason Evans can't. It's not to say Cooper Moore can't. But, you looked at this, and you had Evans and Schmidt ready to go. Those guys are going to be in your rotation, and you still went out and got Cooper Moore. The same thing goes for this. You bring in somebody to compete and give all of these guys an opportunity to be a starting pitcher at this level for you next year. But you have to add that. And then I really look for somebody potentially at the back end of the bullpen. Kind of like you did with a Devin Sheeran a couple years ago, adding him from Mount St. Mary's. Probably need to do that again. If Paz doesn't develop into a starter, could he serve that role for you? Absolutely. The stuff's more than electric enough. If Gavin Guidry is back, we know he can serve that role for you. That's probably the role he's best in, is that 8th, 9th inning guy. That's where he's had his most success in an LSU career. But what if he's not? You need some help in the back end of the bullpen as well. Starter, closer, that's really the first 2 things that stand out, and then fill in where you can. But there's going to be a lot of turnover there, and there's going to be some guys as well who maybe you thought weren't going to be back, who are back. Because while it didn't go the way you wanted it to on the mound this year, there's a lot of good stuff on LSU's team. They have to decide now what stuff is projectable and they can develop, and which isn't. And that's where all the turnover is going to come in this staff. It'll be a fascinating offseason. We'll go through the position players a little bit later on to start the 5 o'clock hour. That one's a little bit more cut and dry. Not as messy as the pitching staff. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. Andrew Lopez reacts to the introduction of new Pelicans head coach Jamahl Mosley here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, If you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Love telling you about River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com is the website if you're looking for work, or you may not even know you're looking for work. River Parish Contractors, you need to make this call. Call Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors because they got tons of work lined up. So you want overtime? They got as much overtime as you want. So you never have to. A lot of places want to hire, give you a good rate, but they don't want you to work overtime. Not a River Parish Contractors. They got as much overtime as you want to work. You want to work night shifts when it's cooler? You can do that. You want to work day shifts? Got it. Look, there's no rainouts. They have amazing benefits. They've got PTO. If you're a welder, pipe fitter, pipe cutter, you got to get in touch with my friends over at River Parish Contractors. Call Big Jake or go to rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Right there in Reserve, River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, welcome back in after further review here on a Tuesday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. The New Orleans Pelicans, they officially introduced Jamahl Mosley here on Tuesday as their new head coach. Andrew Lopez, sideline reporter for the Pels on Twitter, X @Andrew_Lopez. He was there, joins us now. Andrew, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Been a long day getting to know Mose, or getting to see Mose, I should say, and trying to figure out where he's going to take this team. But been a good day. A lot of talking, a lot of smiles, a lot of excitement. I think that's kind of the biggest key right now.
Hey, man, it sounds like an introductory press conference. That's what it sounds like. A lot of everybody's always fired up at the introductory press conference. Andrew, we didn't have a chance to speak with you really since the hiring of Jamahl Mosley. Let's just start there. What did you make of the decision by Joe Dumars to bring in the former Magic coach?
Yeah, look, it's funny because it's one of those things where I had a relationship with Mose after covering him back with the Magic. It was one of the one of the extra teams I guess I had when I was at ESPN covering the Pels. So knew a little bit about him and was able to talk to him right as that happened. And I had probably a 5-minute phone conversation with him the day after he was hired. We're going in to do some stuff. I just wanted to check in with him on something. And I'd say of that 5-minute conversation, 3.5 minutes of it were just him talking about how excited he was about this opportunity. And I think one thing that we saw today, saw multiple times, was kind of the fact that he mentioned it. I think Joe Dumars talked about it. He had a situation where he didn't necessarily have to take a job right away. And one of the things Mose did today was after the press conference, he sat and talked with a couple of the writers and kind of just caught up with them. And it's a little bit more in-depth questioning. And one of the things that he talked about was the fact that he thought about, hey, maybe this is, I do sit and not take a job right now. And this opportunity presented itself, and I think he saw the good in this job. He saw the players. He saw everything that he wanted to do. So I think from that perspective, it's obviously when you got a coach looking for a new job, you always want a coach who wants you, and I think that is exactly what you have. And you got a pretty good one in Jamahl Mosley.
One thing that stood out to me, kind of listening to him talk, was the physicality. I mean, look, we know the defensive acumen that he brings with him from Orlando. Is this Pelicans team, the way they're currently constructed, able to live up to the physicality that he wants?
Well, a lot of what he talked about when it comes down to that physicality aspect, or defense in general, I should say, it's going to come down to want to. And I think that part to me was kind of key. Of when you get down to want to and buy in and all that kind of stuff, he's already talking up all of his guys right there at during the press conference. He's talking about Derek Queen's ability. He mentioned to us there was a play in particular that he was going back. He was going back on his tape and looking at how things were going to work and what was going to be with this team. And I think one of the things that he pointed at was there was one play. What he did was he went back and watched film from the Magic games against the Pelicans last year, and he saw there was a play that Derek Queen made in that game where he sees him get a steal on Tristan da Silva in the corner, and the bench is fired up. And what happens on the next play is Derek Queen picks up full court. And he says those kinds of things show me that it's there, in guys. And what happened in that particular instance was DQ's feeding off that energy, and it's why you have what he calls bell plays. They ring a bell if certain plays happen during practice. That's one of those plays that he saw. So he knows what he can think. I think he can bring out of this team, and obviously you have some other pieces. You have a Herb Jones, which I'm sure any defensive coach in the NBA would love to get their hands on a Herb Jones in their defense. So he sees a lot of the pieces here, and again, kind of probably wouldn't have taken the job if he didn't think that he could get that out of some of these guys.
How does Zion fit in what he wants to do?
He and this is a quote that he used. We did something with him earlier in the day, and then he said it during the press conference. In his mind, Zion hasn't scratched the surface of what he's able to do yet. And to me, just as a team employee, as a fan of the team, that got me excited because that tells me he has ideas for what he can do. And somebody asked him specifically, "What do you see in Z? Do you use him in a brand new way? Do you use him in ways that he has been used prior, and you take that and you figure it out?" And I think, to me, what I saw there was, he said, you try to go off of what you've seen already. And maybe that's a little bit of point Zion. He mentioned his playmaking. He mentioned his high basketball IQ. But there were other times where he mentioned, all the guys reading and reacting and knowing where to be and things like that. So I think he's got a lot of different things in mind in exactly what could be ahead for a guy like Z.
Another thing that really struck me, Andrew, was his comments about the fan base. And I mean, look, man, you're at every game, you're on the sideline, you're in the Smoothie King Center, right? Like you can really feel that connection. It feels like the fans have been longing for a head coach that they can have a connection with the New Orleans Pelicans. Is Jamahl Mosley that guy?
It seems, and not only is he that guy, I think it's something that he's going to make a point of making that happen. I think he understands. I think what's being asked of him. Yeah. He understands the ins and outs. He understands the city. He understands the relationship that the city has, with the team. And, he's coming from a small market team. He's coming from a team in Orlando where that's how things were. So I think he gets all of those things. And to me, that's exciting.
Yeah.
He mentioned, hearing the comments from the fans when he was not a member of the New Orleans Pelicans. He goes, he knows how lively it can be in the Smoothie King Center. So I think all of those things kind of, to me, kind of show that he understands exactly what he's getting into. And he said the fans that he's kind of seen so far have been great. So knowing when you see things like that, you hear things like that, I think to me that, makes you excited that, hey, this guy gets the little things that go into to being a coach in a city like this, and that was good to hear.
If there's one thing we know, it's that Pelicans fans they're out there, and man, we've seen that building on full tilt before, and it's an awesome sight up there with a lot of the great atmospheres in the NBA. Just unfortunately, we haven't been able to see it quite as consistent as we want. Andrew, this is a tough one because it's May 26th, and I'll just kind of let you take it wherever you want to.
Yeah.
But I think everybody does want to know, all right, how quickly can it happen under Mosley? Because it's a guy who took the Magic to the playoffs 3 straight times. I mean, is that a fair expectation for this group now, knowing that we're at the very beginning of the offseason?
Yeah, I think it's there's, again, you mentioned it's May 26th. There's a lot left to figure out in terms of what is it going to look like? How is it going to kind of take place? But I think Mose was kind of asked about what this team could possibly look like. And he mentioned kind of being on the cusp. And I don't know if that means in his mind that it's something that immediately happens. Like you go into next year and you're thinking, okay, we can be a team that competes. But I know what in his mind, what he sees is a team out there who, no matter what, has to compete in order for anything like that to happen. So if there's a sense of, this team can be a play-in team next year, or this team could be a playoff team next year, it's going to have to start on the defensive end, no questions asked. And I think that is something that, as much as we heard it today, talking about alignment between coach, executive, ownership group, Joe Dumars and Jamahl Mosley both understand that for this to get done, it has to happen defensively, and that's why you go and get a coach like this, and that's where I think he's going to focus some of those efforts to get things started.
Jamahl Mosley officially introduced to the media as the New Orleans Pelicans' new head coach. Andrew Lopez, sideline reporter for the Pels on Twitter X @_Andrew_Lopez with us here on AFR. Andrew, we appreciate it as always, man. We'll have to catch up later in the offseason.
Got it. Sounds good, man.
All right, absolutely. That is Andrew Lopez. We're going to grab a break, but before we do that, Jordan's First South Farm Credit here, I think.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana, because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there, you can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
All right, thank you to Andrew Lopez there, giving us the intel there on Jamahl Mosley's intro presser. I mean, he was there and it was right in the middle of the day, so saw a bunch of stuff come out about it, listened to a good bit of it. It's kind of how we let it off there with Andrew, right? It's like it's a exciting day. It's all that. It's intro presser day. Like, no one ever loses the introductory press conference. It's one of those things that, man, I want to see the Pelicans have success. I really do. It's fun when the NBA team is good, right? I mean, that is an awesome sport to take in and watch. And Louisiana loves a winner, and New Orleans loves a winner. And we've seen moments from that franchise. Hopefully Jamahl Mosley is the guy to come in and make those moments a little bit more consistent. And kind of put the Pelicans on the map. It's going to be his task. They've got good young players, just getting them to play up to their capabilities and play together and finding your best five on the floor. And who plays well with who, man. And again, as Andrew stressed there, physicality, effort, want to, defense. Not a word you hear very often in the NBA these days, but Jamahl Mosley is going to try to bring that to the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. Bit of a tough break for LSU basketball and Will Wade, the NBA draft. Talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is presented by Duplessis Pools. You know, with all the rain we've been having, some of the puddles out there kind of look like pools, huh? Huh? No, those puddles look like, get it? Puddles, a lot of water? No? Sorry. You want the real thing? Duplessis Pools can build you a beautiful pool. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. Man, they're all over the region now. Incredible, the growth. One of the fastest growing pool builders in the country and one of the top pool builders in America as well. Pool and Spa Magazine last year rated Duplessis Pools number 26 in America in the top 50 pool builders in the country. What an incredible hat tip. That's based on the quality of their work, their customer service, customer reviews, incredible validation for Duplessis Pools. So thinking of putting in that pool, that outdoor kitchen, any type of way to beautify your outdoor space. You want to add a putting green, they can do that as well. It's DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month. With 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit SpineCenterLA.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right, a little bit of breaking news here. Middle of hour 2 of AFR. Pete Nakos from On3 confirming that the NCAA has officially denied Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby's request for reinstatement for eligibility for the 2026 season. That's not a huge surprise that the NCAA did that. It's absolutely what they should have done. Brendan Sorsby was caught wagering on sports and wagering on his own team. That's against NCAA rules. It carries an automatic loss of eligibility. That's not surprising. Like, this is an expected move. This is the right move. And now we go to court. Brendan Sorsby, his attorneys, they are now seeking a temporary injunction against the NCAA, ruling him eligible. If it's granted, it would allow him to play the 2026 season. They've already had one judge recuse himself in this because there was a picture of him with the Texas Tech mascot. So I guess now they'll just go find the next Texas Tech alum that's a judge and have him oversee this. There has to be a line. There has to be a line, and eligibility needs to be that line. And I'm not talking about eligibility in terms of, okay, you transferred here and there, or you eligible. No. I'm talking about, are you out of eligibility, or did you commit a violation that takes away your eligibility? If Brendan Sorsby gets this injunction, that opens the floodgates for anyone to bet on sports and be eligible to play college athletics. Like, that's what it does. And that should not be a thing. In no world should that be allowed. And I know, oh man, it's right in front of everybody's face. There's an ad here and there. You can't go anywhere without seeing, wager on the sport, on the commercials, signage in the stadium, all that. Yeah, I understand. But this is a slap in the face to all the athletes that obey the rule and don't wager on sports. This is potentially, if this injunction is granted, a slap in the face for players in the past who have gotten caught and lost their eligibility. Hunter Deckers, former quarterback at Iowa State, first guy that really comes to mind there. This just can't happen. And it's the same thing in college basketball with G League players or guys who have signed two-way deals being allowed to come back, like Charles Bediako getting a temporary injunction granted. And then ultimately, finally, it progressed and he was ruled ineligible. And that needs to be what happens here with Brendan Sorsby. I fully expect at some point for him to be ruled eligible. It's just, will it go further and, common sense prevail and he be ruled ineligible? It's a bummer. And look, if the young man, if there's gambling addiction there and mental health there, I can be completely sympathetic to that, and I hope he gets the help he needs. He's checked in, to that rehabilitation for that, and that's great. And if that's something he's dealing with, yes, get the help you need, please. For for you personally. But the rule is black and white. The rule is the rule. The rule was explained to you. You know the rule. You broke the rule. And the penalty is ineligibility. And the NCAA has officially denied his request for the reinstatement. Now it'll go to court where it's just going to get messy. And I'm sure at some point he'll be ruled eligible. And that's just how these cases go. But I mean, you talk about a Pandora's box that this could open, including players who have lost their eligibility, seeking injunctions now, reinstatement for that. And who's to say you can't bet on sports? Brendan Sorsby did it and potentially gets away with it. Why can't I? It's just not right. That's a slap in the face to everybody who has obeyed that rule with all the temptation around it too. We'll keep you posted as that goes along, but the NCAA has taken the first step. They have officially denied the request for reinstatement. Now they'll go to court for an injunction. All right, it's after further review here on a Tuesday. Musso in for Moscona. Of course, we're brought to you by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Touch on brief basketball here. So the deadline to withdraw from the NBA draft is the 27th. So it's Wednesday at midnight Eastern. The one player LSU was really looking at there was Allen Graves. Of course, Graves spent this past season at Santa Clara, hit the game-tying shots in their matchup against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament to overtime. Awesome moment for him. Ponchatoula native, brother of Marshall Graves, who already played for Will Wade. It was down to Duke and LSU if he did not stay in the NBA draft, and everyone kind of assumed it would be LSU. Well, Marshall Graves announced today, or I should say the report came down from Jonathan Givony today that he will, Allen Graves will remain in the NBA draft. So that takes a forward off the board for LSU, but you look at what it means for the roster, and look, LSU, they planned for that possibility. I mean, you have plenty of bodies to fill those, the 3 and the 4 if you're LSU with Mo Diabate, obviously Marcio Santos, Salu Niang, Michael Ruzic. Like, you went and filled up, and those are veteran players who have played a lot of basketball at the professional level and whatnot to come in and go there. When I look at this LSU roster, really the last thing they need is a point guard and a true point guard. Abdi Bashir is a scorer. Like, that guy is out there to fill it up, get buckets, put points on the board. You need to find that distributor who can be more of the true point guard if you're Will Wade and LSU to help get the ball, to a guy like Bryce DeSere, who plays really, really, really well when he's got a guy who, I should say, his offensive game is truly unlocked when you can get him the basketball and feed him down low. Not necessarily, he's not the stretch guy. He's not going to go out there and create his own shot or anything of that nature like you see some bigs be able to do. and Bryce Sayers is going to play an awful lot. And you look at some of these other scorers, a guy to get them the basketball, right? I mean, that's really the last thing missing here, kind of for this LSU team. It's a bummer about Graves. That would have been an awesome story. He would have been a major scorer for you, and the analytics liked his defense too. But again, that's also a guy who's projected, top 20 potentially pick in the NBA draft. It's said that the Oklahoma City Thunder are a team to watch for him. They have 2 picks in the top 20, so keep an eye there potentially. Again, not saying you didn't want him on the team. Obviously, you did. Again, guy's going to be a first-round pick potentially. You want that guy on your team, but it also stands to reason why he would stay in the NBA draft. And it looks like he got some pretty good feedback. So we'll see how they continue to build this roster. They have stacked up at forward, the 4 and 3. So we'll see where they go next. My guess would be maybe fill it out with a point guard, and you kind of see where it goes from there. But they've done a nice job building that team up so far here in the offseason between the portal and obviously the international ranks. Allen Graves staying in the NBA draft, will not be attending LSU or Duke. He'll start his pro career. All right, we will grab a break, come back on the other side, wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers in the pros. One former Tiger got the call up. We'll tell you about that next on AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James. You want an unbelievable customer service experience? You want Darren James. It's part of his core values for Darren and his team. Darren tells me all the time, as long as I've known Darren, he said, my goal one day is to put myself out of business. I want to create such a turnkey, seamless, easy process for people to be able to buy and sell homes that they don't even need me anymore. Well, as Darren continues on that path in the meantime, he's going to help you sell your home. So if you need to sell your home, you want a realtor that quite literally sells more homes than anyone, you want Darren James. Last year, Wall Street Journal is listed the top 1% of realtors in America, Darren James. So, need to sell your home fast for the most amount of money? You need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Summer is here. Maybe you're looking to upgrade that ride before the family road trip. Get on by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Told you for years, they are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Maybe you need that full-size family SUV. Make sure you go test drive the Atlas. That's what Erica drives. It's the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Tons of space to accommodate our family, all our bags, all the beach stuff as well. Go test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Remember, you can shop them online, new and certified pre-owned. So if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, great selection. Say it all the time. They're the largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They move more new inventory, so they have more pre-owned trade-in inventory as well. So make sure you shop their pre-owned vehicles over at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Wrapping up hour number 2 here of a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Moscona is back tomorrow on Wednesday. But for now, we got one more segment here and one more hour to go. Let's wrap it up. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Gage Jump. He's going to the show. Former LSU Tiger pitcher, former ace pitcher, gets the call up late last night. He becomes the 92nd major leaguer in LSU history. Already the 5th major leaguer produced by Jay Johnson during his 5-year tenure at LSU. Jump was the number 41 prospect in Major League Baseball. Of course, he was a second-round pick of the A's back in 2024. Mowed down hitters in Double A. Got the call up to Triple A this year. Made 9 starts with a 4.5 ERA. Punched out 56 in 38 innings, along with just the 20 walks. He will be on the bump tonight for the just the A's. They don't have a team anymore, city anymore. That's right. So he'll be on the mound for the Athletics. They'll be playing in Sacramento. He'll face off against the Mariners and former Georgia Friday night starter Emerson Hancock. So Gage Jump to make his debut. That game is MLB TV, ESPN Unlimited. What even is that? What is ESPN Unlimited?
I don't know, man. Everything is all these new streaming platforms.
Is that the thing that they changed the ESPN app to or whatever, or watch ESPN?
I have no idea.
If you want to watch it, you can. Gage Jump on the bump for the A's tonight against the Mariners, making his major league debut. Congratulations to Gage Jump. Alex Bregman went 2 for 4 on Memorial Day. Both of those singles. He did punch out. He was stranded both times. The Cubbies lost again. This time 2-1 to the Pirates. But Bregman is up to 255 on the season. How about Dylan Cruz and his return to the major leagues? It has been going quite well for the former Tiger. 2 for 5 on Memorial Day. Both of those were singles. One of them was a double. Pardon me. That was his first double of the season. The other was the single. Over the weekend, he also had a home run. His first homer since returning to Major League Baseball. And the average hits at 241. So he's not hitting the cover off the ball. Like, he's not, 300 guy yet. But that's a really good spot for Dylan Cruz to be, given how the first stint in the major leagues went, where he struggled to hit over 200. So 241 in the major leagues. That's not the worst thing ever. So I'm glad to see that happening for Cruz. Jaden Hill was asked to get an out for the Colorado Rockies. He did so after giving up a hit, but stranded that guy, put up a 0, so a third of an inning. He continues his stellar season. And we'll head to the WNBA for a moment. Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dream, they got win number 4 on the year over the weekend. Reese turned in yet another double-double. 17 points, 10 rebounds, about 4 assists and 4 steals, just to, just for good measure there. And again, as we said, the Dream got the win 82-80 over the Phoenix Mercury. Angel Reese and the Dream are back on the floor here tonight in Atlanta. That is Tigers in the Pros. And this is after further review. Again, Musso in for Moscona. One more hour to go here. We're going to dive back into some LSU baseball. Earlier in this hour, we kind of set the table for the offseason with the pitching staff. Also, there's a bit of a development there. Maverick Rizzi on his Instagram story posts what looks to be a farewell to LSU. It's just a carousel of pictures. His caption, "Forever LSU," with a heart and thank you. Of course, we touched on Rizzi earlier in the hour talking about the pitchers. He's a guy who's draft eligible, could take the money, could be drafted. That could be his next path. He's got leverage. If that's not, he is a candidate, obviously, for a portal, because you just look at it and you go, man, it's a guy that it didn't, the role just never really manifested into kind of what we all thought that it would be, but he's plenty projectable and obviously can give innings to a major league club or another college club. So we'll see. We'll look at the position players when we come back here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drinks.
I'm Ed Bank, and we start with NFL news. According to ESPN's Nate Taylor, Patrick Mahomes was on the field with his Kansas City teammates today at the team's OTA. It was the first time since Mahomes tore his ACL at the end of last season. The session was closed to the media, so the extent of Mahomes' workload is not known. Agents have told ESPN's Adam Schefter Pro Bowl receiver Nico Collins and the Texans have agreed to an adjusted contract. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, Kenny Atkinson will return as Cleveland's head coach despite the sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Western Conference Finals continue tonight with the Thunder hosting the Spurs. The series is tied at 2 games apiece. The Thunder's Chet Holmgren says just getting a split out of San Antonio wasn't enough.
I wouldn't say you want to look at it like that. I feel like we're seeing it as we had opportunities that we didn't take advantage of, we didn't make the most of, and now we have opportunities going forward that we have to switch that around for.
You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio. Coverage gets underway at 8 Eastern. Stanley Cup playoffs, Golden Knights and Avalanche. Game 4 with Vegas up 3-0. Colorado's Nathan McKinnon won't play despite an injury in Game 3. They'll face off just after 9 Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studios.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 3 after further review here on a Tuesday. Presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill, they're along for the ride. And happy all of you are along for the ride as well. Maybe it's your first day back at work from the Memorial Day holiday and you're just getting in your car and driving home. We appreciate you making us a part of your day. Been a great show so far. Still a lot of good stuff yet to come. Ross Jackson, he's going to join us in about 13 minutes. Saints hit the field for OTAs on Wednesday. Open up the organized team activities. A brief preview, a look ahead from Ross. Some things to keep an eye on. The first time we get to see the Saints free agents acquisitions on the field. So some thoughts there from Ross, and just kind of some overall offseason thoughts on what he's seen from Kellen Moore here in his second offseason as the New Orleans Saints head coach. But in the meantime, before we get to Ross, I want to dive a little bit back into some LSU baseball. Offseason officially here for Jay Johnson and the Tigers. In the 4 o'clock hour, we talked about the pitching staff, just kind of set the table, kind of for your offseason there. And since then, we've already had one announcement. Maverick Rizzi appears he is leaving the LSU program after 2 seasons. The pitching staff, looking at that, was kind of a mess. We're looking at the position players now, and this is a little bit more cut and dry. So, for the sake of this exercise, I am going through this, looking at all your draft eligible players and saying that they're gone, outside of John Pearson. But like Milam, I'm assuming he's gone. Curiel, assuming he's gone. Brown, assuming he's gone. So that eliminates those 3. Then you look at the players who are just flat out of eligibility, and you look at guys like Tanner Reeves and Zach York and Chris Stanfield and Braden Simpson and Seth Dardar. All right, that's 5 more. So right there, you're at 8. And for the sake of this exercise, it leaves some pretty big holes. So what do you have returning? Mason Braun, who hit .314 as a freshman, got 140 at-bats. That's a guy who has real power as well. You saw on display a little bit. I mean, his first home run was an opposite field shot down the left field line on a fastball up and out of the zone that he just muscled out of the park. There's a lot more in that. Can he just tap into that game-wise? We'll see. He's also a guy who provides a lot of flexibility for you. He can play first base. He can play corner outfield. That's a really good piece that you have returning there. Cade Arrambide, Omar Cerna. How they structure those guys' roles is going to be very intriguing to me. Arrambide in his draft year is going to demand the lion's share of the reps at catcher, as he should. But that's also a position you've just been weak at. But Arrambide, Cerna give you two options at catcher with further development there. And we know what those two guys are offensively, so you feel great there. Jack Ruckert. Again, we're assuming Stephen Milam is gone. Can Jack Ruckert slide over and play shortstop? That's a young man who ended up playing in 39 games this year with 18 starts, got 69 at-bats on the year, hit .232. But that's because he had a rough SEC tournament. Heading into the SEC tournament, Ruckert was around .250, which as a freshman, that's very good. He also finished the season with 9 walks to 11 strikeouts. So the plate discipline was very, very good for him. And the defense really came along late in the season for Ruckert. Pardon me. But even if he doesn't slide over to short, okay, he's right there at second base for you. William Patrick, you figure he's going to occupy one of those outfield spots for you. And then that's where you get into the question marks. But right there, that's a good core of what you have coming back. And guys who played a lot of baseball for LSU down the stretch. Like, that was the value, part of the value they got out of this season going as awry as it did. But what do you do after that? I look at third base, I look at John Pearson, I see a guy who did a lot of good for LSU. 114 at-bats, 8 homers. It's a good pace. You get him to 150, 160 at-bats. That's double-digit homers. That's production. That's a guy who's going to have a role for LSU's team next season. I'm just not so sure that role is at third base. Can it be? Sure. He had some nice moments defensively, down the stretch of the season. But he also led LSU's team with 8 errors. 6 of those coming at third base. The way I kind of put it with John Pearson is that guy absolutely has a role on your team. He is a productive player. You like the power numbers, but there's just not a moment for me this season where I looked at it and went, okay, I've seen all I need to. He's your third baseman going forward. He's on this team. He has a role. For me, I'm just not sold that, okay, he's your third baseman going forward, and there's no question there. I think that's a competition there. And then guys who are returning, with the pitchers, we looked at this in a sense of, okay, there's some draft-eligible guys who could take the money because they don't have a lot of leverage, or they could enter the transfer portal. One guy I look at that could absolutely fit that here for LSU, Trent Carraway has another year of eligibility. He's a junior. It didn't go the way he wanted to. The production wasn't there. He was also nicked up. But that's a guy that still has a lot of ability. Is he back at LSU? If so, that's somebody that can compete potentially for a corner or middle infield spot. I'll come back to the outfield, but Eddie Yaman's interesting in that role as well. Yaman went through senior day, but Jay Johnson has said the plan is for Eddie Yaman to return. Well, that's a guy who's played some corner outfield for you. He's played some first base in his time if you want to move Braun. They have options there. And then you look at a guy like Ethan Claus, who, by the way, hit a yak in the Northwoods League last night. His father posted that on social media. He got 4 at-bats. It's 4 at-bats. That's a type of player that has left LSU in the portal. Not saying he's going to, but that's also the type of player that has, and in the same vein, that's the type of player that Jay Johnson probably wants to emphasize returning. Like a Mikey Ryan, right? Because who knows? Cloth's got plenty of ability. It's a good glove. There's power in the bat. He could take a big jump for you. So you have a lot of options there on the infield. When you get to the outfield, they get a lot less. We said Patrick's going to occupy one of those. Braun can play some outfield for you. Yaman, he's expected back. Went through senior day. We'll see what that actually holds. He can play outfield for you. Daniel Harden got 19 at-bats. That's a guy who just spent his junior season at LSU after the first 2 in junior college. Has the role really developed to what he wanted it to be? Probably not. Does he seek another opportunity potentially in the transfer portal? It's a great athlete. It's a guy who had 7 hits and launched 2 homers in that. Show you the ability. But it was only 19 at-bats. The opportunities were just really limited there. Does he look for another opportunity? Potentially. Outfield has got to be a major priority for this team in the portal. Middle infield as well. Because if you do lose Stephen Milam, maybe you're not comfortable moving Jack Ruckert over there, you need to go get a shortstop. Like if there's a high-end shortstop in the portal that you feel good that you can go grab, nab him if Stephen Milam is gone. If he's back, obviously there's no need. And then I'm going to tell you first base as well. If you can go get an elite power-hitting first baseman with Mason Braun's versatility that he can play the outfield, I'm here for that. You're only at 2 catchers. You probably need to go add a catcher in the portal as well. Specifically one that excels defensively. And what you could very well see is what you saw at parts of 2023 where you use the defensive replacement late in the game, but you don't really want to take a bat like Aaron Beatty or Cerna out of your lineup either. Catcher is going to be fascinating to me because you have to be better defensively there. And Jay Johnson, I mean, he's acknowledged that and even talked on his radio show earlier this year about potentially bringing in like a consultant to specifically work with the catchers defensively. Not a full-time staff member, any of that, but somebody to come in and give them just a different voice, a different look, and see if they can't take that position to the next level. And a guy like Cade Aaron Beatty, he really wants that. That's what's preventing him from being one of the top picks in next summer's draft. Because the bat, the power, all of that is there. The defense is the next step there. So catcher is going to be fascinating. I'll be curious to see if they do add a catcher in the portal with a defensive acumen. But the thing is, they have plenty that they can retain offensively and in the field that lays the foundation, but you have to go get some outfield help. I'd get another middle infielder. You're bringing in 6 middle infielders, I do believe, in this signing class. So you'll have numbers there, but can you get a little bit more experience? Because if Stephen Milam goes, you are not very experienced there up the middle, which is where you have to be in college baseball, in baseball in general. So file those away. That's really big. I mean, outfield has to be a major target for LSU because it's where you return the least. And you really want to rely on a bunch of freshmen coming in. You'll see some portal action there. I would be shocked if you don't. That's just a little bit of a set the table here for you for the LSU position players as we look ahead into the offseason and into the 2027 year number 6 under Jay Johnson. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. Saints are on the practice field. OTAs get underway Wednesday. Ross Jackson talks about it next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, hormone replacement therapy. Yes, NAD+. Yes, BPC 157. Yes, ED treatment. The bottom line is, gentlemen, I don't care how old you are. It's about how old you feel. And do you want to feel like you did when you were younger? Do you want to live a more vital life? Do you want to live a more energetic life, where you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, and you're rip-roaring ready to go, where you're motivated to get in the gym, where you have a great libido, where you have great mindset, energy, mental clarity, memory, all that sort of stuff. It's possible. It's affordable. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you do it. Hormone replacement therapy could be a giant part of that for you. NAD Plus can literally help your cellular optimization to make you younger at a cellular level. BPC 157, tremendous in helping in recovery. Learn more. YourGoodwood.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Saints hit the practice field Wednesday, open up their first round of OTAs. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, locked on Saints. He'll be out there. He joins us now to give a little bit of a look ahead. Ross, we appreciate you as always, my man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you making the time. Let's start here. Kellen Moore, year 2. Have you noticed any differences in the head coach here in his second offseason with the Saints?
Yeah, I'd say he's a little bit more kind of settled in and comfortable. I think what I'm really looking forward to seeing is what do those differences look like when he gets to practices and all these other things. Like the only thing we've seen so far is kind of the couple of rookie mini camp practices, which allow a little bit of a look into what's going on, but not really a full kind of deep dive available coming from those. And so really interested to see what else, kind of changes, things like that he's going to be.
Wise would the changes be? Like, I'm just curious. You said he's more settled in. So like, what really would you look for there?
Yeah, I think that the scheduling would be interesting to see kind of how he goes about, are we going to see longer practices? Are we going to see different, types of practices integrated? Do we see, new drills, things like that? Like, how do you change that environment to keep people engaged going into a second year? And what have you learned and how do you apply it? I think it's those types of kind of more intricate things that'll be interesting to see. And then the rest of it happens on the football field when the games actually begin. But I would certainly say that he's settled in. He feels a little bit more comfortable, speaking to the media, feels a little bit more comfortable in terms of the way that he, conducts himself in those ways as well. Nothing out of the ordinary from what you would usually see from a head coach that's going from year 1 to year 2.
Another thing we'll get to see here in OTAs is the free agents on the field for the first time. Let's start on defense, Ross. I mean, they added plenty. Martin Emerson, they added Caden Ellis, obviously Tyree Wilson. Like they added at every level there. Which free agent defensively are you most looking forward to seeing for the first time in OTAs?
Defensively, specifically, I think it's probably going to be Caden Ellis. Look, training camp environments, there's no contact, particularly OTAs. The competition's kind of throttled down a little bit. You will see some competitive drills and things like that. But what you really get, no matter what, is you get to see the communication. You get to see how these guys fit, run fits, how they follow the flow, play flow of the offense, how they read and react to what the offense is doing. Can they get in position? All these other things. So you kind of get to see the eye discipline, all these pieces. You still get to see and evaluate all of that, and to see sort of a leadership loss for the Saints with they had in Demario Davis. You're not really looking for somebody to come in and do the exact same thing that Demario Davis's style of leadership was. You're looking for somebody to come in and sort of begin a new kind of direction of leadership. And Caden Ellis is going to be one of the core fundamental pieces to exactly that, along with safety Justin Reed. And so very, very intrigued to see, and look, we've gotten to see Caden Ellis in New Orleans before, right? Yep. So now what does he look like after 3 years away as a starter and a team captain, coming in and commanding a defense a little bit differently than maybe what we saw before? So really, really intrigued to see what he brings to a limited exposure opportunity when it comes to OTAs, but definitely an opportunity to be vocal and make calls, all these other things.
I'm asking you this in May, Ross. That's kind of tough, but do you think rotations at linebacker change any without Demario Davis? Or is this, all right, Caden Ellis, we brought you in to go do that role. You're going to go be on the field every single down and every single game?
Yeah, I do think that the rotation looks a lot different going into 2026. And really one of the biggest reasons why is, we saw pretty heavy rotation at linebacker last year with Pete Werner rotating out on third downs for Isaiah Stallberg pretty often. We saw every third possession in each half, we would see Danny Stutzman come in and take over that role next to Mario Davis as well. So now I think what you're looking at is, okay, are there more specific game situations where Danny Stutzman comes in as opposed to the rhythm of the third possession of each, half and things like that, where they were just kind of trying to get a look at the guy? Is there a specific game situation now that he's involved in, sort of like what we saw with Isaiah Stallberg on third downs? And then the other piece to it too is, does Caden Ellis's pass rushing acumen allow him to be able to come down and play sort of that outside linebacker role while somebody else moves into that Mike or Will linebacker role, right? Where they're kind of one of the inside linebackers in coverage. Does, a third down opportunity give you the chance to get both Danny Stutzman and Isaiah Stallbert on the field while you move Caden Ellis down to what we would typically look at as a defensive end edge rusher spot? And so I think his ability and versatility as a pass rusher, where he has all of these incentives built into his contract, really creates a greater opportunity for more rotation and more kind of specific game planning that's tailored to the situation that the offense is in.
Flip sides of the ball. Free agent you're most excited to see on the field offensively?
Yeah, I think that's got to be Travis Etienne Jr. Man, it's just he's such a dynamic piece that this team was able to land in this free agency process. And I know that the draft has happened since then, and so some of the excitement around the free agency class has kind of been overshadowed, or at least maneuvered in a certain way. Refocused in a certain way. That free agency class on the offensive side is going to do a lot for New Orleans, between Travis Etienne as well as tight end Noah Fant, and then you're adding as well David Edwards over on the offensive line. But man, Etienne's ability to produce as a rusher has run for over 1,000 yards for 3 of the last 4 seasons. The Saints haven't had a 1,000-yard running back since the 2017 season, which is when Mark Ingram went for over 1,000 yards. So it's been nearly 10 seasons since they've had that. Alvin Kamara has gotten very close. He had like a 937-yard year. 2 years ago, he had a 950-yard year. But now you add in a guy like Travis Etienne Jr., who feels like a lock to get 1,000 rushing yards. And then you add in his ability to catch out of the backfield, his ability as a pass protector. There's just a lot of reasons to be excited about what it is that he can do. And even in an OTA format where the run game isn't necessarily easy to evaluate, it'll still be really interesting to just sort of see, how does he process? How does he hit his blocks? Or hit the hole where the blocks are? How does he get involved in the passing game? All of that. I think he's probably the guy on offense that's most exciting to watch.
Can't really talk about him without talking about Alvin Kamara, his supposed running mate in the backfield. They don't really feel like they're in any hurry to make any type of announcements or get this thing resolved with Alvin. I mean, OTA start. I don't know if they're even really expecting Alvin Kamara there. I'm not. But is there any real reason to expect some finality during this OTA period with the Kamara situation?
I think the only thing that maybe brings some finality to it, or at least some progress to it, is the logistics of if Alvin Kamara attends an OTA, he'll be in the building, and therefore the conversations can happen. But is that conversation really happening with Alvin, or is that conversation happening with his management and his representation? And so what's really, does that really move the needle just because he's in the building, right? So, he's not a guy that often or that consistently participated in OTAs. He did, but it's not like a Cam Jordan situation where Cam hadn't missed a single OTA in his 15 seasons and all. And so I think it says more if Alvin Kamara is present than it says if he's not present, because that would kind of be par for the course in that way. Maybe mandatory minicamp is where things can get a little spicier and more interesting, since that is mandatory while OTAs are voluntary. So maybe that tells you a little bit more at that point. But, everything that the Saints have said since the Hall of Fame Golf Classic that they had about a week ago is that they were hoping to have to kind of figure things out in the next week or two. Now, I don't know if that means figuring out the contract in that time or figuring out what his fit is on the roster at that time. But whatever it is, they wanted to have things figured out. I do think that when you get into OTAs, you'd like to know at least an idea of, okay, these are the players that we're looking at in these situations and in these roles. And so maybe that's the piece of the conversation that gets settled by then. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the entire situation has resolution by then, as those OTA practices aren't mandatory. So maybe the mandatory minicamp going into June would probably be more a solid date to aim for.
I have a couple more for you, Ross. We're talking with Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints, on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson NOLA. So what am I supposed to make of the Saints running back room then? Because I feel like this has been a conversation really for the last, handful of off seasons. What do they have there? At that point, it was behind Alvin Kamara. Now it's behind Travis Etienne, because, we've seen the struggles of Kendre Miller. Devin Neal has promise, but he struggled to stay on the field. Audric Estime at the end of last season showed some promise. They have bodies there, but, the room just kind of feels like a hodgepodge in a sense.
Yeah, I think maybe that's part of why the Saints have spent so much time, or at least, have noted that they're spending so much time in evaluating where Alvin Kamara fits, is because they got to figure out what that room actually is. And you're right, it's kind of Travis Etienne Jr. and then a lot of guys start waiting to prove themselves more than anything else. I mean, Kendre Miller has dealt with, I think it's like 7 different injuries that have cost him games since he entered the NFL, including last year's ACL tear, which ended his season in the 7th week of the year, in which he had career highs in carries, but as well as rushing yards. But we're talking about 40-plus carries for 193 rushing yards. We're not talking about huge career highs here. And then, you saw some promise with Devin Neal, but because of the timing of his hamstring injury, which was something he also dealt with during training camp, you're kind of hoping that getting an actual offseason maybe helps him be in, shape and ready to go. Not in shape, but, have the sort of body comp needs and, that he's not, I think as Kellen Moore called it, like not a track athlete coming into the NFL, and so he can, be ready for an NFL season without having to worry about running a 40 and kind of doing all this other offseason stuff, that maybe that brings him into a new stratosphere. And then you're hoping that Audric Estime maybe can, continue some of the promise that he showed at the end of last season. I think if Alvin Kamara ends up not being a part of the picture or whatever, I think your 2 most promising guys behind Achane are Neal and Estime right now. I think it's such a massive question mark about Kendre Miller. The talent's there, but can he stay on the field is such a massive question mark. And we're talking about a guy like Devin Neal, who dealt with hamstring injuries twice last season, but going back to training camp included, but hadn't missed a single game due to injury in his 50-something games that he played over it with Kansas. And so what can you do to get him back to that and staying on the field? Maybe those are the 2 guys that end up kind of populating that room if Alvin Kamara is not a part of the equation. But I definitely think that this team is, and I think it's hard to argue that they're not, but I think this team is better with Travis Etienne Jr. and Alvin Kamara as opposed to Travis Etienne and without Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, look, you said it's hard to argue. I don't want to be the person on the other end of that argument, because I completely agree with you there, Ross. Last one for you. What type of schedule were you expecting to see Jordan Tyson and Christian Miller on here in OTAs?
Yeah, I would expect them to probably have some days to where they're not participating. Now, it's going to be a little tricky to track because there are days, there's kind of 2 or 3 days of practices in each of these OTA sessions over the course of a couple of weeks, but only one of each of those days is accessible by the media. And so there are going to be days to where he's there, but then he participates the day where media is not present. There are going to be days to where he doesn't participate in the days that we're present, but then doesn't, or then does in days that we're not. And so it's going to be a little bit of a, kind of a moving target on all of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's 1 or 2 of the practices that we're in, or top commodity, top 10 selection, and he's got this, kind of hamstring injury that he really pushed to the limit, staying on the field and playing through the initial injury again in the win against Texas Tech when he was still with Arizona State. And so having him out there to participate in, to be thrown at and thrown to or in the general direction of by tryout quarterbacks was a bit surprising to me. And so you want to get him some early exposure with Tyler Shuck. OTAs makes a lot of sense, but you don't have to do it 100% of the time. So I think for both of those guys, Jordan Tyson and Christian Miller, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them maybe once or twice in the 3 days that we have, but I would expect to see them at some point while media is in attendance.
He is Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints, LouisianaSports.net. You can get over there, read his stuff, get subscribed up to the podcast as well. He does a great job, and he's always very generous with his time here with us on AFR. Ross, we appreciate it as always, man. We'll talk soon.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. You take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you do the very same. That is Ross Jackson. We're going to grab a break. We will come back on the other side with more from AFR and more from SEC spring meetings. A couple other coaches have now also weighed in on college football playoff and things of that nature. It's been a very eventful 2 days down in Destin with the SEC spring meetings. As we, Greg Sankey said he thought they were overhyped. I gotta kind of disagree with Greg. This has been some pretty entertaining stuff coming out of the spring meeting. So just a little bit more on that here. And we still have Auto Locks to get to as well to close out the show here. It's a Tuesday edition of AFR presented.
And it's not your fault. Do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G Team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parrish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishGroup.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as we say, together we roar. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And, you know, I love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake because whenever we talk about healthcare, Our Lady of the Lake understands the two things primarily that people want are access and convenience. And they knock that out of the park. Whether it be at the regional medical center, if it's the lake after hours, if it's any of the specialty services that you may need, heart, stroke, cancer, pediatrics, you want the best. You want Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership, ololrmc.com/LSU, ololrmc.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
SEC spring meetings going on in Destin here this week. And look, I mean, it's very similar to media days. Greg Sankey opens it up on Monday with a 40-some-odd minute press conference, and then select coaches take their turns. Lane Kiffin took a turn here on Tuesday, and a couple really intriguing things. They did ask him about Ed Ogeron and bringing him back. We'll get to that. But the thing that's of most pressing is an update on Sam Leavitt. So you'll remember earlier this offseason, Lane Kiffin confirmed to Wilson Alexander in that interview he did with On3 that Sam Leavitt would be ready for fall camp. Full go, ready for fall camp. And this is just a further, that drives that point home further. Credit Pete Thamel for this quote. He posted it on his Twitter. Lane Kiffin at SEC spring meetings said that quarterback transfer Sam Leavitt ran 21 miles per hour on the GPS the other day as he recovers from the Liz Frank injury. He's set to be ready for summer camp. Yo. He's a guy who had the pins removed midway through spring. Really, what was that? Late March? I think it was March 31st, the day that Lane Kiffin spoke about that on the record. Comes back at the end with the 7-on-7 there in their final little scrimmage on April 28th. And now you fast forward a month later on May 26th, and he's up to 21 miles per hour on the GPS. That is a great sign for Sam Leavitt. Be able to have him go through summer camp, all that fully, training camp, all that fully, be ready to go for that Clemson game. That's like, we can hear he's going to be ready for summer. We can hear that and still have some apprehension and be like, okay, yeah, but what does it really look like? To back that up with now saying, oh, yeah, by the way, he was running 21 miles per hour on the GPS the other day. Foot looks like it's feeling pretty darn good there for Sam Leavitt. That's massive, massive news for LSU. And then his quote on Ogeron's return, again, credit Pete Thamel, quote, It just seemed like the perfect time to bring him back. We talked for a number of days about it. We had to figure out exactly what it was. I feel awesome about it. He would add, when talking about having Ogeron be able to be on the road recruiting, he would add, that's a tremendous value anywhere, let alone the state of Louisiana. It does kind of seem like one of the perfect marriages. Those guys have worked together for a long time on multiple different staffs. I believe this is the fourth time that Lane Kiffin's hired Ed Ogeron. Of course, we all know Ed wanted to hire Lane, at LSU at one point. They seem to know, they seem to just fit together. And the role they have Ed Ogeron in, look, I'm not going to tell you anything that nobody else has. It kind of just feels perfect for what it needs to be right now. Do I think it's absolutely insane that they finished paying him buyout money in December and now he's back on staff? Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think that's just, but LSU's not a real place. LSU is a simulation. It just is. It's things happen at LSU that just happen nowhere else. You can throw this in there as one of them, but I think it's going to work out really well for LSU. And, Lane Kiffin obviously feels the same way, otherwise he wouldn't have done it. And this was kind of like a really poorly kept secret. Ed Ogeron was asked about this starting back in October of last year, before Lane Kiffin was even hired as the head coach at LSU. You knew that's the direction LSU was going, and you knew that these guys had a history, and here it is. So this feels like you maximize the best of Ed Ogeron in this role. So, we talked a little bit about it with Shea earlier in the show as well. If you missed that conversation, you can find it on demand, YouTube, podcast. All of those places search AFR LSU. But it feels really good, to kind of talk about alignment. I don't know if you get more alignment than those two together with the familiarity that they have, and really allowing Ed to go out there and be Ed. So Lane Kiffin officially addresses that for the first time on the record, because That was a bummer. The Pardon My Take interview dropped like the day before that it happened. But, what are you going to do? We'll continue to keep you updated here from SEC spring meetings as the week goes along. Like I said, I'm sure we'll head out there and get a I'm actually working on that right now. Get somebody, to hop on who's there covering it and give us all the deets. College football playoff, obviously a huge talking point there this week, as is the potential for the SEC breaking away. I know Greg Sankey's had some comments on that, so we'll get an update there, and we'll monitor everything else that Lane Kiffin says while he's at the podium, and hopefully bring you some of that on tomorrow's show as well. Matt is back on the show tomorrow. Quick little getaway from him out there in Arizona, as he talked about on air. So he'll be back with us here in studio, ready to go on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show will have a pretty heavy baseball flavor, as well as we're into the LSU off season. We've already seen some movement there. Maverick Rizzi announcing that he's going to enter the transfer portal. He's the first. He will not be the last from this current LSU team. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. We'll wrap up the show with Otterlocks, see what Jimmy's got for us tonight. What are we betting on? That's next to close out a Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs.
Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. And man, my friends over at Insurance Network of Louisiana are crushing it for Louisianians on their auto insurance right now. Listen, if you have not had anyone shop for your auto insurance lately, you got to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. My goodness. They got some top-rated companies, Geico, Progressive. They're doing awesome work right now. This was an amazing story that I heard. They wrote one last week, saved the client $2,911 annually. They had a high auto rate with State Farm. They smashed it with Geico. They had another one say $1,476 annually with Progressive. They had Allstate and switched. Y'all, I tell you all the time, if you're just auto-renewing your insurance, man, you're probably overpaying and you're underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana help. LAinsurance.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, rolling along here on a not Friday. Wow, no, it is Tuesday. A Tuesday edition of AFR. First day back of the week. Let's wrap it up with Outer Locks.
Outer Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
That just shows I'm still in Memorial Day weekend mode. Otter, how's it going?
Doing good, buddy. How about you?
Doing fantastic, man. Been a great day. Good show. Good show. See, we got a 5-pack tonight.
Yeah, let's start off in the NBA, man. The trend that I'm liking in this matchup is that Spurs seem to be getting a little bit healthier. De'Aaron Fox, who's the only guy with playoff experience before the Spurs postseason run started, he played 30 minutes last game, and they pulled him out when he got out of hand. Later, he could have played more, so that is moving in the right direction. A couple of key players for Williams is definitely out tonight, and they have another one of their key players. Not a starter, but looks like the injury trend. I'm going to take any type of points. I expect a very, very tight game at OKC. Obviously, huge game in this series. Both, by the way, either one of these teams will be a considerable favorite. We're talking about like 250 to 270 over the Knicks should they advance. In baseball, we got 4 games for you. Arizona blew out San Francisco last night. We're looking for the same today. Rodriguez versus Molly here is a big pitching advantage for the Diamondbacks, and they are a better team. Gives the Diamondbacks there. Ace Seminara came with the Yankees minus 1.5 runs on the road. We'll lay it on the road with Schlittler. He's been incredible. The Royals have had issues scoring runs, and they blew a 9th-inning lead yesterday in an afternoon game against the Yankees. They've lost their last 12 against the Yankees. We're going to go with the Yankees. Tampa Bay already up 1-0. You're not going to get that line at minus 110, 112 now. No. Griffin Jacks has made the transition pretty smoothly from the bullpen to a starter's role over Shane Baz. So Tampa Bay blew 3 different leads in the last extra innings. Look for them to bounce back. And then St. Louis, this line is creeping up. We think it's a pitching wash between St. Louis and Milwaukee. 2 of those teams in the NL Central that all have winning records. Milwaukee's hot, but St. Louis has had a very good start as well. The youngest roster in all of Major League Baseball. That's too big of a price. They certainly have a shot in that one. We're taking the Cardinals. I've seen as much as plus 80 out there right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at 78, plus 178 here at DraftKings. And then, yeah, you're right. I mean, the Rays are now minus $1.96. Oh, excuse me, minus 207 now, Otter. So, yeah, I don't think go to the website. You can get it early there. 5-pack there from the Otter. Spurs plus 4.5. Diamondbacks money line. Yankees run line. Missed the Rays, and Cardinals plus money. Big dog coming back there on the money line. Otter, where are y'all tomorrow?
Oh, we got our Mid-City Tunnel going. We're going from Doe's today over to Roca tomorrow. So Roca Pizzeria, awesome place, man, not just for pizza, but all kinds of great stuff. And they're doing a great job. We enjoy going over there to Roca. Roca in Mid-City for tomorrow's show, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Some really good pizza. Y'all get over there and see the guys, Jimmy and Hanny, for live at lunch. Otter, we appreciate it. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. That is Jimmy Ott again. Spurs, 4.5, plus 4.5. Diamondbacks on the money line, the Yankees on the run line, and the Cardinals on the money line. That one coming back plus 178, 180 in that range. Monitor the Rays. Maybe they fall behind, and you can hop on them at a better price there at on the money line. All right, that's just about going to do it here for us on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Thank you to Jordan. Thank you to Paul. Enjoyed filling in here for a couple of days for Matt. He is back tomorrow. He's going to have a lot to talk about between spring meetings, Saints OTAs, the LSU baseball offseason, all of it. We'll have you covered from 3 to 6. That's on Wednesday's AFR, presented by Your Goodwood. Be back for that.
AFR.
Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. For many, it's back to the grind. And if that's the case, remember, Rouse's has you covered. Every Tuesday is $5 Sushi Tuesday. So maybe you're not looking to cook tonight or for lunch, easy. Just swing on into Rouse's, go on over to the sushi section. It's all hand-rolled there, daily, fresh, delicious, and $5 sushi every Tuesday. Grab your favorite. Grab everyone in the family their own favorite. And you'll be the hero when you get home for dinner tonight over at Rouse's. Every Tuesday, it's $5 sushi. We always encourage you to make sure you get to the website or to their Facebook page. They do a great job at Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, updating that weekly ad. So if you want to know what's on special this week, if you're out grocery shopping, you can always get to Rouse's.com to shop ahead or download that Rouse's app. Remember, they got the Rouse's app. Your personal shopper will go pick out your items for you, bring it out to the vehicle when you pull into one of the designated spaces. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing Performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.